Hi, it's Nell and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about 10 fabulous plants for low light. And these are plants that are easy to maintain, they're durable, and they have longevity. There are no 6-month wonders here. So stick around and find out what the plants I chose are. Now, my last video was 15 easy houseplants, and this is kind of a follow-up to that because, as I said, these are easy also. And I wanted to do this video because many of you might have low light conditions. You might live in a studio apartment that's a bit darker, or you have a few dark rooms in your home, and you might be wondering what plants do best in low light. I'm going to explain some more things about low light at the end, but I just want to say that low light is not no light, because all these plants need some light, and artificial light is not my thing. So I'm talking about, I don't mean it's not my thing, it's just something I don't know anything about, and everything I do is from experience. So these are ones that can tolerate lower light conditions. Some might do a little better in medium light, but they will tolerate low light. And if you've seen some of my houseplant videos, I've talked about the fact that I started my horticultural career as an interior landscaper. I took care of plants in offices, lobbies, hotels, airports, and the such, where the conditions are pretty tough. There's not a lot of natural air. Sometimes not a lot of light. So these plants are the ones that I saw do the best. Now, quite a few of these plants I've done videos and posts on their care, so I'm not going to go into the care in this video. I'm just going to talk a little bit about a few lines about each plant, and then you can go to the blog post that goes along with this video. The link will be in the box below, and there you can find the links to all the videos and the posts on the care if you are interested in any of these particular plants. And just like the last video, you'll see a few plants, and you'll probably see more pictures in this one, or maybe half and half, because some of the plants I have and some of the plants I currently don't have. We are starting with a pothos, or the devil's ivy. This is a hanging plant or a tabletop plant, and it has really long trails. Mine currently has 7-foot trails, but I've seen them with at least 25-foot trails, and they come in a variety of foliage patterns and colors. This one I have here is speckled with white. It is Marble Queen, and if the light is really low, they usually revert to a solid green color, but there is a solid green one, and that one can take the lowest light. We are moving on to the Heartleaf Philodendron, which is also a hanging plant or a tabletop plant, and some people think it's in the same genus as the pothos, but it's not. The pothos is not a philodendron. The trails don't tend to be as long on the Heartleaf Philodendron that I've seen in my experience, and the stems are much thinner than on the pothos. It's not as robust a plant, but it does come in a variety of foliage variegations. But the pothos, I've seen more of them because I think it is a sturdier plant than the Heartleaf Philodendron, but the Heartleaf Philodendron is still a very attractive plant. And now a plant we all love, the lucky bamboo. And what makes this unique is that it grows in water for the long haul. You just have to make sure that you keep the roots covered with water, and it'll do fine. It'll also grow in soil too. Comes in many different forms. This one I think is called the spiral. It also comes in many different arrangements too. So there's some pretty cool ones out there. And it is also rumored to bring you good fortune. Now we're going to talk about aglaonemas or ags. These can be either tabletop or floor plants. As a floor plant, the tallest I've seen one is about 3 feet or so by 3 feet. So if you have one 2 feet, it's generally 2 feet wide. And this one really comes in a wide variety of foliage patterns. And the general rule is the more variegation in the leaf, the more light it's going to need. So the old variety called Chinese evergreen, which is a really dark green, does the best in lowest light. So if you have low light, you want to choose an aglaonema that doesn't have a lot of color in the variegation. Like there are many of them now that have pink in the foliage, and that needs more medium light than low light. So just be sure you get one that's not really bright and splashy if you have really low light. And the Zizi plant. Now this is either a tabletop plant or a floor plant. This is my smaller Zizi plant, which I have on a table in my bedroom. The larger one, which I divided up to get 3, one of them being this one you see, is a floor plant. And the tallest I've seen them is about 5 feet. And then the leaves sort of start to arch a little bit as they get taller. And it has glossy green foliage and beautiful, that is the new foliage. And then the older foliage is a beautiful, deeper glossy green. It's a great plant. Hardly shows any brown leaves. Even here in the Arizona desert where it is summer and scorching hot. Snake plants, one of my personal favorites. These are either tabletop plants or floor plants. When they are a floor plant, I've seen them about 4 feet tall. My trifasciata is about 3.5 feet tall now. And the one you see in the middle is Moonshine, flanked on either side by Futura superba. It's a very, very tough plant. The less you baby them, the more they will like it, actually. So if you travel a lot too, this is a great plant. And it comes in a lot of foliage sizes and patterns, and some of the leaves are round, as some of them are like blades. You can get a lot of variety with the snake plants. And the cast iron plant. This is either a tabletop plant or a floor plant. The largest I've seen it is about 4 feet tall, and the leaves shoot up off of skinny stems and then get bigger, and they're almost like a dark green flame. And they do fine under stairways, in hallways, in a darker corner. It's a great one for those situations, and it really stands up to its common name, which is cast iron. And it comes in a few variegated forms, not too many, but it's also a good one if you travel. So now I'm going to talk about a few floor plants, the first of them being the Kentia palm. It is a floor plant. I've seen them up about 15, I think the largest I spec'd one in a building was 18 feet, and they really spread out at that height, and they're gorgeous. It's a very beautiful, graceful, elegant palm. It grows very slowly. It's expensive. It's much more expensive than a bamboo palm or an areca palm, but I think it is much longer lasting, and it has just this gorgeous form to it. Beautiful, beautiful in interiors. And many of these plants actually get much larger when they're growing in their native environments outdoors, so I'm just talking about them growing indoors and the heights I've seen. Which leads me into the Dracaena Janet Craig or the Dracaena Lisa. The Lisa is a little more commonly sold on the market now. It has a little narrower leaf, but they're very dark, glossy green leaves, and you normally find them in a staggered form. So they arise off of canes. The foliage heads arise off of canes, and a cane is basically a stem. So you'll see a stem, a stem, a stem, a stem, and the foliage fans out there. So foliage, 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 foliage. And it is a, as I said, a beautiful, dark, glossy green. And the tallest I've seen them is about 15 feet tall. And we used these a lot in interiors, especially in offices. And lastly is the Dracaena Fragrance, which obviously is related to the Dracaena Janet Craig and the Dracaena Lisa, which we used to call just Janet Craig or Lisa. And the fragrance we just called fragrance. And the fragrance is the non-variegated form of the corn plant that I talked about last week. And it has the same form as the Dracaena Janet Craig and the Dracaena Lisa. It tends to have bigger foliage heads though, because the leaves are bigger. So it makes a little bit more of an oomphy, I don't want to say a statement because the Janet Craig does too, just because it's so dark, but it just it takes up a bit more space. So it's like, oh yeah. And I've seen this one in a single cane form quite often, a single stem with the foliage coming off of that. And if you do have the corn plant and you lose the central stripe, it's because it's not getting enough light. But the fragrance can take lower light. Okay, now we're going to talk generally about low light. And I brought my kalanchoe over just because it's in full bloom and it's so pretty. And I'm just about to film a video on this, but I thought it's something nice to look at. So low light. Low light, as I said, is not no light. Some of these plants will do better in low light, but all will tolerate it. And again, you may not see a lot of growth, but they will still they will still keep on keeping on. So a general rule for low light is that you want it bright enough to be able to see things like to be able to see things and do things like cooking or reading or sewing. If you can do that, if that is the case, then the plants will be fine. So if you have a north exposure, that's fine. There's no direct sun, but there's still some light coming in. These plants will be fine. If it's an east exposure, you want it at least 5 feet away from a window. And if it's a west or a south exposure, you want them at least 10 feet away from a window. And you can just eyeball it. That's what I do. If the plant isn't doing well, you can just move it to another room or move it closer to a window. And you never want any of these plants in a window in hot, direct sun. They will burn. But I'm sure that you can choose one plant that you really love out of these 10 choices. I hope you have found this video to be helpful. I live in the Arizona desert where it's very bright and sunny a lot, but I do have one room that's a little bit darker, so these plants are suited for that room. And I'm sure that you have a situation similar somewhere in your home. So I thank you for all your likes and your comments and your subscribes. I really appreciate them. I have a lot more videos coming your way. Up next is either 10 houseplants that are safe for pets or 10 houseplants that clean the air. And I'm not quite sure which one I'm going to do first, although I do need to decide soon. But in the meantime, let's get out in the gardens or into our home gardens and make our worlds a more beautiful place. As always, I thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.